Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see who's here. And when you can hear me, just let me know in the chat. Hi, Loki. Eli says, I hear some Häagen-Dazs might help with diabetes. Ben & Jerry's reported to work wonders too. Yeah, I've heard that one as well. I like them both, so I'm quite happy about it, but we shall see. Oi, Ace. It's girls and boys. Hi, Shell. Gung Fu. Well, you can watch your cat videos and then just resume, because I'm just talking bullshit right now anyway. All right, so Cinnabon has apparently got a new toy video. Good. Number 3 looks like bullshit, so there's 4. Excuse me. I'm not sure what you're talking about here. Awesome. You hear me loud and clear and you can see me. That's perfect. Patty Ann, you made it again. Glad to have you here. Thanks for asking, Shell. I'm okay. It's funny because I didn't have any coughing or anything, and then on Friday when pretty much the cold was almost gone, I say, but my sinuses are still a bit yucky. I got this tickly thing in my throat, and I'm just getting this, dry cough. It's really, really annoying. It's more satisfactory when you can actually cough something up, even though that's quite yucky. Oh, you're joining for hubby who's diabetic. Have to get him on keto train. Yeah, that's good. Is your hubby here as well, or is it just you? You're just giving him the information. So he is envious. Okay. Rachel, glad to see you, and I'm going to see you later. Yeah, my day is really full today. I had a call this morning, then straight on here, and after this I'm having an interview with a guy that I will put out on Tuesday. That's going to be really interesting. It's about healing addictions with a carnivore diet, so that's going to be cool. You're talking about the thumbnail. I already forgot what's on there. So what did we say? 3 and 4 was bullshit. Let's see what you said. What number? Trying to find it. Yes, 3 and 4. So let's see what that actually was. 3, eat less red meat and processed meat. Well, processed meat isn't necessarily the best thing you can do, but I don't think it's going to cause you diabetes. 4, eat more fruit and veg. Yeah. But what about 8? Drink alcohol sensibly. For me, who is a non-drinker, that sounds like you should be drinking your alcohol. It's just one of those things that you should do, and I don't. Right. Honest. I haven't seen you for a bit, have I? Hi, Fluffy Rainbows. Nice to see you here as well. It's morning here. Okay, so he's sleeping. Well, that's good for him. Did you find out why you got that cold? It has been for some time now. Hasn't been for some time. It's a week. That's kind of normal, isn't it? I don't know why I got it. Maybe I'm just overly stressed because my work sucks. I'll just blame work. I have no idea. It's just really strange how I got 2 colds this year, and previous to that, I think it's probably more than 10 years since I had a cold. I had a flu, but not a cold. Shell says, hubby has had his blood tests, A1C and stuff. Doctor sent him a letter and is worried about his cholesterol. Not worried about the previous big gut and high sugar. Okay. Yeah, okay, let him worry about that for now. It doesn't really matter. And you know what? If your hobby is, if he's doing keto, which I think you said he's doing, and he's doing it pretty well, what's going to happen is that he's going to, obviously at some point, he's going to be able to access all that stored fat, and it's going to turn into triglycerides, and his triglyceride blood levels are going to go up, and they might just be like, oh my God, why are they so high? And that's because they're being released and used for energy, but they're going to be higher probably than they used to be, unless he was eating a lot of sugar and fructose, etc. Then they would have been up anyway. But yeah, just you know this, Shell. No need for panic, but just saying. Paddy says, in Sweden they still say the plate model, Tallriks modell. It drives me nuts. Yeah. I didn't know you still had that. I thought you were... I'll have to look at it now. Funny. Well, if we have something from this year. Yeah, it's a very, very simple way of eating. So I think it's kind of a good visual. So I'll just share this with you if I can, because this is funny. Chrome tab. Here we go. Okay, so you can see this one. If we can make it bigger. Okay. So this is Tallriks modellen. So basically what this means, this is the fruit and veg bit, this is the protein bit, and this is the carb starchy bit. So at least this one doesn't say have 10% of your energy as sugar or, fruit juices or anything. It's very, very simple though. So this is the recommendation for those who don't, so for those who do move, as in exercise, and this one is for people that don't move a lot at all. So they just think that we can actually, I think it looks like the protein is actually less, but this one is, or maybe it's about the same. I can't really tell if they switched this one. Let's say it's definitely not the same. It's less starchy ones, but I think that the protein has gone down a little bit as well. So what they basically want you to do is reduce your calories. Eat more fruit and veg because they are lower in calories. And yeah, we know what we think about that. And this is funny because this is from Livsmedelsverket, which is the organization in Sweden that is dealing with the food guidelines, etc. And while I was studying nutrition, we obviously had people coming out from there talking to us. And the woman in charge, now I say this as a Swedish person, we do have fat and obese people in Sweden. And mind you, this was like 15 years ago, but we don't have a lot of those people that are that large. But this woman, she was huge, and I'm not kidding you, she was obese. And she came to my class, a classroom full of students studying nutrition, to give nutritional advice to people to become healthy. And she's just like the most unhealthy person on earth. Well, because she's fucking obese, excuse my language. And you have to kind of start thinking, I mean, I remember I was thinking, if what you're saying is true, why do you look like that? Or do you just not give a shit and you just go home and you pile on the ice cream and the pizza and the cookies? Or what's the deal here? Why is it that you look like you do? And I think should it be a requirement that you have to be fit and healthy to work with that? Maybe not, but if your advice actually worked and you're living it, then you really shouldn't be working like that unless you have a serious disease. And I don't think that was the case. So there we go. Now I'm bashing the poor lady at Livsmedelsverket. Maybe she's not working there anymore. I have no idea. Yes, drinking the whole bottle is sensible. Absolutely. So how is everyone? I'm a lot better. It's just that I have that tickly cough. Thank you. And as you know, my sinus is still being blocked, but whatever. My body is actually recovered and I don't feel like I'm ill. Shell says, so far the positives, no more joint pain, sugar under control, 120 to 94. Control, that is better, but it's not, it could be lower. Sleeping better, lost 20 freaking pounds, but she's worried about the bullshit cholesterol. I'm not worried, Pim. No. Good. Let her worry then. It's not your problem. She can worry. As long as she doesn't force him to take some statins or something, then fine. Imagine how tired I am of my mom worrying about cholesterol. She just doesn't seem to budge. The brainwashing is too hard. Yeah, you're probably going to get that the rest of your life, though. Because parents are very unlikely to listen to their children for obvious reasons, because she has been teaching you everything she knows about life since you were a little baby. and she's hopefully done a very good job because you seem to be a very fine young man, Luke. So her job with regards to you is to teach you about life and how things work and help you out and feed you, etc. So for things to now start turning around and you're learning things that are alien to her, it will take a lot for her to listen to you. She's much more likely to listen to someone else who has the same information, unfortunately. Okay. I'm just going to give you a heads up as well. Today, since I have that interview after this one, I'm not going to go over an hour. So I'm going to be jumping a little bit more in the chat and try to find the questions, just so you know. Make it a little bit more efficient. Luke says, I keep trying to get my dad on lower carb animal based, but my mom freaks out about him eating fat. Meanwhile, his belly grows larger. Oh, God. How, and what about your dad? Is he on board with it? Does he want to do it? You can just talk to him when she's not around. Paddy Ann says, I tell him to follow model according to keto, fat, protein, and veggies, greens. Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. So just get, if you get the starch out of there, he will do fine, I'm sure. Yeah, insulin resistance for sure. There are many fat people in Sweden, me included. Yeah, you say that, Paddy Ann, but look at me. I mean, I was always one of the bigger people. I think I have broader shoulders naturally, probably. I have broader hips naturally for sure than most people in Sweden. But there are so many people in Sweden that are normal, that are, when my estimation, would be seen as skinny. So when I moved to the UK, I could not believe that all of a sudden I was a skinny person. I was one of the very thin ones there, because there's so many people that are overweight or obese, and the overweight people, they are kind of considered to be normal. That is the norm, and that is not what it is like in Sweden. Here in New Zealand, it's not quite the same, but there are many obese or overweight people as well. But I think then they also have a little bit more of the skinny normal, what I would say is actually normal type of people as well. Might depend a little bit on where you live. Here in Nelson, there a lot of people are very health conscious. So if I go to the beach here and you just see all of these people with beach bodies jogging around with the dogs or whatever on the dog beach, and it's just like, whoa, where do all these people hide? They all look fantastic, and that's great. But if I was to compare myself with them, I wouldn't look as fit. So I think you say that there are many fat people in Sweden, and yes, that has absolutely changed. When I grew up, when I was a kid, we have one fat kid in my class, and that was like, okay, he's the fat kid, or she's the fat kid. There weren't many around, and nowadays that's a little bit different. So Luke says about his father again, I think, to think he used to be the strongest and fittest men around the city during his youth. That's when he ate the most animal products, I guess. Yeah, and when you're younger, you are actually you can take more metabolic abuse before anything happens. Shell says, my partner has worked so hard on the keto diet and improved all his numbers. The doctor gives him shit of cholesterol. By the way, it's only 213 lol. Yeah, so just ignore it. Seriously, just ignore it. And the cholesterol, like the limit for where they want to prescribe you statins, is kind of going down on a yearly basis almost as well. So 213, 15 years ago, might have been totally normal. Google search fat health minister for a laugh. Okay, let's do it. Oh, it's always her, isn't it? Right. Let's see. Well, just because I did that, and not maybe not everyone will be on Google, we will share the picture with you there. So yeah, the Swedish woman I was talking about, she wasn't actually quite that fat, but she was definitely obese. So Belgium, well done. You winning the Fat Health Minister war, I think. She's always the one popping up. Sad, but you know, how do you get that job looking like that? Do you not have to have any credibility? I think maybe they could have given her a different position because that doesn't look good. It's like a paradox. You cannot look like that and be healthy. I'm pretty sure. Right. So Shell says, I'm more educated than the doctor. Freaking sad. I think everyone here is, and that's why you're here. But yeah, it is sad. But remember that doctors are not trained in nutrition because that's not what they do. And that it would be fine if they were just staying out of it, if they left that to the patients or gave it to someone else. Now, unfortunately, they can't give it to dietitians because they are trained in a way that we don't like, where they don't actually get to use real science. They don't get to recommend whatever they want to recommend. They do have to recommend you to eat and do certain things in a certain way according to a protocol. So not all dietitians are evil. They just have to work according to those guidelines. And as most people, they want to keep their jobs because if you're a dietitian, most likely you like working with that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone through the education to become one. Hello, Joe Fry, guitar guy. Okay, see you, Shell. I guess you're outside now and we're still listening. Patty Ann, this probably is not the right question for this week, but how do I tackle the constant measurement of BMI? I'm normally large boned. Well, I need to lose weight as well, but this is crazy. Are you saying that you want to lose weight? Is that what you're wondering? I'm a little bit confused how you tackle the constant measurement of BMI. Or are you saying that your normal BMI might be 25 rather than or 26? I mean, when I was at my fittest, I don't think I was quite at 25, but I wasn't far off. But I had so much muscle, and muscle weighs so much. And I might not be the best example, but if you saw my interview with Ella the other day, she's kind of, what did she say? She has a very kind of middle teens, lower teens % of body fat. I bet she's probably above 25. Doesn't have fat anywhere. She's metabolically healthy. You know what? It's. I think BMI has its uses, but when we're trying to make BMI the way of doing it and the way to assess everyone, as if everyone fits the model, then we are, way off. That's not what we should be doing with it. I think BMI was developed as a research tool so that you could categorize people according to different things. It was never developed for doctors to tell you whether you're too fat or not. What would be a reason for blood sugar jumping up to 125 fasting? Usually he's doing activity. Okay, so it's just when he's doing activity that makes all sense, because when you start working out, you will have glucagon release, etc., or other stress hormones like adrenaline, that sort of thing. All of the stress hormones are being released, so they will signal to the liver to release glucose into the bloodstream so that you can fuel your workout. That's quite normal. Your blood sugar will be jumping when you're exercising, and that goes for everyone, whether you are diabetic or not, and it has a purpose. It could also be, the dawn phenomenon, if it's jumping up in the morning. That could be it. You know what? I actually had that. I wrote it down because I found it very odd. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was because I was kind of not feeling well. I'm trying to find which day this was. So I have 3 days in a row when I wake up at between 3 and 4:30 a.m. and I don't usually do that. Now I totally lost it. And one of those days I was just like, what is this? And I had to go for a wee, and I haven't had that for ages. I used to always wake up in the middle of the night and go for a wee when I was eating a lot of carbs. Going low carb, that's not a problem anymore. Only time I have to do that is if I'm drinking a lot in the evening, and I usually don't do that. So yeah, it was just a few days before I actually fell ill. So it might have had something to do with that I wasn't well and that my body was getting, being infected with a virus. But this was at 3 a.m. I just decided to, because it had been happening for 3 days in a row. So I decided to actually go and check my blood sugar. So I was like, this is really strange. What the hell is going on? Why am I doing this? And it was 5.4. My fasting blood sugar is usually around 4.2. So 5.4 is massive. I'm going to try to translate that for you because I can't do that in my head. So, let's see. Yeah, 5.4 is just way too high. Calculate. Oh. Yeah, so that is 97, which is really strange. So my normal fasting blood sugar would be, what's wrong with this? Would be 75, which is kind of normal and something that is good probably. So yeah, you don't really want it to be jumping. And even for being the dawn phenomenon at 3 a.m., I think that is quite a big jump, considering that I'm supposedly quite insulin sensitive. So something's been going on there. And since this was just before I got sick, for now I'm going to put it down to that because it hasn't happened again after. That was actually the last day it happened, but it's very, very strange. I find it interesting, but I don't necessarily want it to happen. Patty Ann says, both my parents had diabetes, so I'm being extra careful and see the same in hubby. But we always come back from the hospital with all kinds of BS arguments. Ugh. So what are these arguments, Patty Ann? Just interested to see if we can help. Bowie Bird says, according to the BMI, I'm morbidly obese, but in reality, I'm muscular and have dense bones. Yeah. Joe Fry Guitar Guy. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Junk food without any noticeable consequences. If I overdo it, I will get my blood sugar levels up. Yeah, that's probably me as well. It's not great. So you said eating this way could really mess me up in the long run. What exactly will happen? Do you know? So what I meant with that is, if you are a strict carnivore or strict keto or whatever, you will start producing the enzymes and you will rev up the machinery that is taking care of the fat metabolism, so that your fat metabolism will work really well. But since you're not eating much carbs, that's going to go into hibernation a little bit. So that is the what do you call it? Nutritional. No, you get like a temporary insulin resistance. So if you then go and eat a lot of carby stuff or sugar or whatever, and you pile that on one day, your body's not going to be able to produce the amount of insulin that you need to take care of this quick enough, because it's been dormant. It's been like, well, I'm not needed anymore. Why would I produce a lot of insulin? Which is actually a good thing, because you don't want excess insulin in your bloodstream. So if you do this, then you are going to be hyperglycemic for a while. So your blood sugar levels are going to go up. And then it's going to be like, oh, right, we'll rev it up. We'll have to produce more insulin. You will produce more insulin. But the cells are like, what the hell, we don't react very well to insulin because we haven't been, insulin hasn't been knocking on our doors for a while, so can't be bothered opening. So it's going to be really hard for you to get rid of the sugar that you have in your blood at this time. So meanwhile, you're having high blood sugar for maybe hours, unless you eat again, then it's going to go up even more. That can make a lot of damage. It will glycate a lot of cells. It will, obviously, because of doing that, it will cause inflammation, etc. So it's everything that is happening very acutely. And then tomorrow you go back, you don't eat carbs again, and your body's going to be like, oh, okay, finally we can get the blood sugar down. Now everything is cool again. And then in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, you do the same thing again, and we have the same thing going on. So that is one of the reasons why A1C isn't necessarily a great tool for measuring things, because what you can see is the average glucose load. So how much have your red blood cells been glycated in 3 months? If your blood sugar is constantly high, it will have a certain glycation. If it's constantly low, it will have a different glycation level. If your blood sugar is going low, high, low, high, low, high, the glycation might look on an HbA1c normal. But actually it isn't. It's just that sometimes it's very low, so it's no glycation is happening at all. Sometimes it's very high, and you'll have a lot of glycation going on. So Joe Fry, guitar guy, have you ever checked your HbA1c? Is it normal? I don't know. But if it's normal, it probably means that it would be a lot lower if you didn't have those pig ads. So HbA1c is not a measurement that will tell you how good your blood sugar balance is. It will tell you the average blood sugar, but that is not actually very useful because you do a lot more damage when your blood sugar is high. If you are eating that way and your blood sugar will go up, down, up, down, up, down, and your HbA1c is 5.8, then I'm eating the same thing. I'm eating some carbs, but I'm not eating a lot of carbs, and I'm kind of stable in the middle, and I might have an HbA1c of 5.8 as well. I'm going to be a lot better off because my machinery is geared towards taking care of the blood sugar. My blood sugar control is good. I will have some glycation, but it will be kind of slow and over time. But when you have this overload, you will just cause much more inflammation, and everything, all the damage will happen very, very spiky, if you like. So it's like I'm having a small fire going, whereas you just throw in a Molotov cocktail and make a lot of damage, and then you clean up in between, and then you do it again. And yeah, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Belgium's health minister is irony at its best. Actually, I wanted to share something with you because I thought this was quite funny. So where I took this picture from, that's why I have the headphones on today, because I wanted to hear it. I haven't listened to all of it. I didn't have time. So I'm going to jump in there. We're going to listen to this video. So, why is this hopping up? I don't want that. Carbohydrates at each meal. Why are you saying that? I didn't get it. So we didn't get very far before I had to pause it. Now I'm just going to check that you can actually hear the sound as well. Can you? I'm going to assume so because no one said that it couldn't. So I'm going to move back. So what do we think about that? Just this is so old. When I was first doing when I was training as a personal trainer, which was like 100 years ago, we did a little bit of nutrition, which sparked my interest in nutrition. And then I became a diet advisor. But what we learned then is like the slow carbs and the fast carbs. And the slow ones are the starchy ones, and they're sitting there on the little chains and they're dropping off one by one. And that is safe, whereas the quick ones are not. And I agree with that. That has also to do with the immediate load and what damage that can do if your system can handle it. But having said that, I can't believe that they're still, you know, they're still in this space where they talk about that as if that was a lot better. Yes. So they say 5 portions of fruit and veg. Sure, here is there's some veg on the right hand side, but I see a lot of fruit here. And I think they have done this purposefully because fruit is clearly more attractive to us. You know, pineapple, banana, peaches, grapes, watermelon, oranges, apples, other melons, pears. And then there's some tomatoes and radishes. Who likes radishes, by the way? They are fucking horrible. So it's like fruit and vegetables. It's like you can eat whatever you want. So have 5 portions of fruit, and then you will get enough fructose to kill your liver. No, there is no such research. The 5 portions a day is something that they came up with as a way of getting people to eat more of it because it's easy to say it's a specific number. And in Sweden, we used to have 500 grams per day, but a portion in the UK is 80 grams. That's 400 grams. So are they just eating 4 portions, or are we eating 6 portions in Sweden, or 6.2 portions? This is just bullshit. It's just like a number, a saying in different countries, something. Um, it's like a slogan, something that gets on your mind so that it's easy for you to remember. And if you eat those 5 fruits and veg per day, you know you're good. So do you guys think that she has diabetes? Or and this is what I meant when I was talking about she people would probably look at her and think that okay, she probably weighs more than she should. But this is actually quite normal. She wouldn't be sticking out with the weight that she has. But she has her face is just all round and she just looks like a big blob of fat, basically. So why is someone looking like this on this website talking about what you should be eating as a diabetic, as if she has a clue? She clearly is not eating in a way that will help her to be healthy. I do not get it. Get a freaking model to do something. Someone, at least someone who looks like they know what they're doing, but they're not even trying. They're just like, well, whatever. Everyone's fat, so let's have some fat person talking about what you should be eating and hope that someone will listen to that person when they look like that. Okay, before we get into that, I'm just going to see if there are any comments because that's so much fun. Ah, super chat. Thank you so much, Joe Fry, guitar guy. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, now you're complaining about the audio. Why can't you hear the audio? For goodness sake. Okay, I'll stop showing that screen and redo it again. So clearly, let's see. I'm going back a little bit. Doesn't matter, you probably understand.
The NHS advises most people
Can you hear
to
that?
choose unsaturated fat in
Now I have to wait 5 minutes to see if the chat is actually catching up. She's obviously a BBW. I don't know what that is. Oh, you can hear it now. Awesome. Sorry about that. My fault. So let's just listen from here. I think you can figure out what she was actually saying from my comments, because I get a little bit upset about certain things. But with the fruit and veg, it's just ridiculous. So let's hop back and see what else she has to say about eating less saturated fat, because this must be the best advice that she could possibly give. And it's working really well for her, as you can see.
The NHS advises most people to choose unsaturated fat in preference to saturated fats in foods. Good sources of unsaturated fat include avocado, nuts, and vegetable oils. Sources of saturated fats include red meat, crisps, biscuits, and butter.
How does this even make any sense? Okay, did you hear what she said? Saturated fats includes crisps, as in chips, the deep fried version, the crunchy ones. They're fried in vegetable oils. And she just said vegetable oils was the unsaturated ones that we should avoid, or sorry, that we should be eating. So make your mind up, because as far as I know, no one is making chips in lard or anything, or coconut oil. They don't do that unless it's a very small, specialized brand. So she's not even being consistent, but never mind. Something that is probably even more dangerous and detrimental to your health than sugar, it's the vegetable oils or the omega-6s, especially the damaged versions. So yeah, everyone picks up on the oh, sorry, Necro, nice to have you here. I didn't see that you turned up as well. Big beautiful woman. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not really acquainted with all these acronyms. So yeah, crisps are apparently saturated fats. I didn't know that. And I don't think she knows that either, because she doesn't seem to have a clue about anything. So let's keep looking.
People with diabetes have extra reason to eat less sugar, as sugar has a fast and direct impact on blood glucose levels. The recommendation from the NHS is to limit salt intake to under 6 grams of salt per day. Products with a tendency to contain higher amounts of salt include tinned soups, ready meals, and other tinned or packaged foods with sauces. Check the side of tins and packages to see how much sugar and salt they contain.
Right, what do you make of that? So, salt is not your enemy. A lot of people, or like low carb people, have dug up lots of studies, and it looks like we need more than 6 grams of salt per day, especially if you're low carb, especially if you're just going on low carb, because you will excrete more in the beginning before your whole system is getting used to that. So I have always eaten a lot of salt. Okay. Thanks, corporate lobbying and industry-funded science. Yeah. Crisps and red meat are not the same animal. Well, no. It's like, yeah, this video is an IQ test. It's like every time I'm looking at one of these diabetes sites or whatever, it's like my brain's blown out. I don't understand where they get this from. So it's like, yeah, well, we have to recommend you to eat vegetable oils. So we say that is fine. But obviously, everyone knows that crisps or chips, they're not actually good for you. And nor is saturated fat or meat. So yeah, let's pretend that they are in the same category. They're pretty much the same. They're not the same. They're absolutely not the same, and I don't know why you're saying that, or why it ended up there anyway. I just thought that was a little bit fun. we have something to watch, and you got to hear half of it anyway. Scott says, that is a deliberate positioning, the well method, as everyone knows that crisps are bad but associated 2 to 3% saturated fat as the problem, not the 25% plus of the other fats in them as such. And that's funny because, you know, meat fat, like animal fats, are just like 50% saturated fat, roughly. And the rest is poly or monounsaturated fats. So coconut oil would be much worse, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually quite jump on that train and say that coconut oil is bad. Not now. They used to do that a long time ago, but since it's a fruit or nut or whatever you want to call it, then it must be good. Yeah, same thing, Rachel. It makes me really angry as well. I think I'm beyond angry. I'm just like in disbelief. I do not understand how they can sit there and say that. And are they actually that stupid that they believe it? Like this woman who said that. Is she so stupid that she believes in this, or is she just saying it because they're paying her to say it? In which case, someone is going to do that, but I think you're an idiot. I wouldn't do things that I don't believe in just for the money. That would just go way against my nature. So yeah, I don't know. Richard, thank you so much for your admission fee. I didn't even see you here earlier. I thought you weren't here, but nice of you. Thanks so much. Oh, right. So Patty Ann says, we have a doc friend in London that says coconut oil is worst. I was shocked that him being a doc believes this. Well, that's pretty much as close to pure saturated fat as you can come. You have palm oil and that sort of thing, which is kind of similar. But yeah, it's hard to find another fat that is more saturated. Ashley says, they are liars. All these people that work for the circus are there for a paycheck and they don't think through any of this information. Yeah, it's really sad. Luke says, been adding salt to my workout water bottle, drinking much less and feeling less drained during and after the workout. Good. Oh no, Richard was working, still am. Bloody works gets in the way, Tito. Yes, he was making up for it. What happens to make it a bad night? Cramps like Charlie horses. Did I miss something here? I'm going to jump back in the chat and see if I can find where we were before we started this. Okay, that was dirty carnivore. So let's see. Scott says, Luke, each generation might have issues as what their parents ate would also have an impact on how his body would handle food. So your grandparents' food before he was born would be a big factor. Yeah, absolutely. So we need to change this now, especially if you're going to have children. But do it for your own health, really. Patty Ann, I have to find a doctor that can lead hubby in keto journey. Surely there must be some of those in Sweden. I mean, even when I lived there, which was like 13 years ago, keto was kind of actually getting on, and it feels like it's just grown and that people are more adaptive and they're open to the keto way of eating. Maybe you should go to Andreas Enfeld's website. Don't know what it's called. Okay. Well, go here and have a look at it. If you're not familiar with it, I just put that in the chat. Just click that link and then you can have a search there. He might have a resource up somewhere listing doctors that you can go to or something. It's just a thought. What I meant was, if BMI is a certain number, then one is considered healthy, but if you're over a number, then you're fat, obese, etc. That sounds wrong to me. Yeah, exactly. That is wrong because we're not all equal. Some people, I think they have made different scales for like Asian people because they usually have a smaller frame and they're kind of skinnier naturally, etc. So they clearly know about it, but they don't want to do it in the population. They're just doing it for different ethnic groups, which is a start, I guess, but it's still not a good measurement. Rachel says, a client had a hypoxic brain injury, has been carnivore for a year, has not had a seizure the whole time, improved in every area, but because his cholesterol is high, his doc wants him to this way of eating. Wants him to stop, I guess. And that is crazy. I really, really hope that your client is not going to stop it, because this doesn't make any sense. If you do something, you're improving your condition, and something that as banal as cholesterol, which you can find it in, it's not even a secret anymore. Even doctors that believe that, certain like high LDL or whatever it might be problematic, even they are starting to see that, what, cholesterol isn't actually that correlated with heart disease at all. There are other things that are much more correlated with that. So when you start looking at it, you don't even have to look far. The evidence is out there. Everyone's talking about it. And when everyone is talking about it, something that has been very controversial, you know that there is something to it. And maybe you should start opening your ears a little bit. Ashley Noel, 3 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. was me too when I went keto for the first time. Okay, so you got that when you went keto. I stopped doing that when I stopped eating carbs. And yeah, that it's high while doing nothing but laying there. That's why I'm wondering what the hell was going on. And I think maybe it was that I was actually getting an infection. So that's good to know. I'll keep an eye on that in case I actually get sick again. Pim says he works on the farm usually, doesn't eat anything until noon or 2 p.m. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, so that would probably be quite normal then. If he's kind of constantly moving and doing heavy work, his body would be like, hey, we're going to need this. We're dumping it out because it's going to be used. And that's probably going to be fine. So what you would want to see is if this is happening when he's doing nothing as well, because hopefully he shouldn't. Padian says they want him to eat balanced, more fruits, more brown bread, rice, and low fat, of course. Exercise, which he does anyway. I keep telling him that they try strict keto for 2 weeks, but he's apprehensive. So why is he? What is the problem? What is he scared of? 2 weeks is nothing. Challenge him. Is the problem that he's scared of not eating the foods that he likes to eat? Or is he scared that he's going to die within 2 weeks of trying keto? By the way, that's not going to happen. But, 2 weeks is nothing. It's a piss in the ocean. So why not just try 2 weeks, see what's actually happening? He might get the keto flu, so make sure that he's getting enough salts in, etc. It could be a good thing, because sometimes you don't feel great when you're starting it. Hobby's sugar reacts very positively to not eating carbs, but he is, like I said, apprehensive. I bring him on my side. Yeah, please do that. Okay. I missed this one earlier. Yes, the fast carbs and slow carbs is what Hobby hears from Vårdcentral and the local hospital. Like, crazy. Right. Oh my god, going through. Some ask the pizza delivery if they can go to bar and tell Pim we cannot hear that lady. Funny. I hate getting my face fat. Yeah, I think I'm lucky in that sense. I've never had much face fat. Right, so let's see. just because you're diabetic, it doesn't mean that you can't indulge. Blah blah blah. Yeah. I mean, come on. No, it doesn't mean that you can't indulge, but it means that you are going to have problems when you're doing that. You're already effed up your metabolism so much that your body can't handle it anymore. So for you to go on and have a binge or whatever, you're going to make a lot of damage, much more than I would, for example, because I am insulin sensitive. I'm not saying it's good for me, it absolutely isn't, but it's not going to, make same sort of damage and into on my body that it would do if you're already diabetic. Because if you want to heal from diabetes, if you're going to cheat, do it responsibly. Don't go on a huge binge. Don't do it every day. Don't necessarily do it every week, but if you need to do it, like, do it once a week with a very small amount that you have decided that you're going to do. But doing it every day is not going to work for you, because you need to get that insulin down and you need to let your body use the blood sugar that you have there and stop this accumulation of fat in your liver and in your pancreas, etc. And you just, every time you indulge, you're undoing that work and you're messing it up again. So it's not good. Let's see. Rachel says about 10 to 12,000 milligrams of salt per day for me. That's probably about right. Yeah. I don't measure my salt, but I'm almost scared of doing it because it might come out very high. Not that I actually care, as you can tell, because I'm not measuring it. Well, that's the thing, Richard. I eat lots of salt and my blood sodium levels are good. I haven't measured mine, but we have kidneys. They have a job, and that is to regulate your blood sugar. I mean, the blood sodium levels, etc., or the minerals. So if you have a lot of sugar, I keep saying sugar, a lot of sodium in your bloodstream, your blood is going through the kidneys all the time. What will happen is, like, little sensors in your kidneys will say, oh, hello, there's too much salt in here. Okay, we'll just absorb it and get rid of it, and then you piss it out. That's how it works. If you have a huge kidney problem or some kind of kidney disease, then maybe it could be a problem. Maybe, I say. Depends on what the problem is and how bad it is. But in general, your kidneys will take care of it. I heard vegetable oils were originally the oils used for machinery way back in the day, and someone got the right idea of consuming this as healthy. I don't know if that's true, but if it was, that's crazy. But yeah, I do think they have used that for, that sort of thing in the past. Yeah, here we go. Seed oils were initially intended for industry. Yeah. If I don't get enough salt, I will have a painful night. Okay. As in cramping, or? Let's see. We've gone through these. Chat's jumping again. Okay, let's see. Scott says, I've heard a couple of issues with coconut oil, but not seen the studies. Something about the ratio of long-chain fatty acids compared to short-chain fatty acids. Okay. I have not, but yeah, if you come across those studies, send them to me, because that would be interesting. One thing that we as humans do is that we decide that something is healthy, and if something is healthy, more is better. I've seen these videos of 20-year-old women saying, oh, my skin is so good, my hair is so great, and I'm eating coconut oil, and I'm eating like obscene amounts of coconut oil every day. And I'm thinking, is that ideal? Why would it be? Would you ever come across a bottle or a can of coconut oil in nature? No, you wouldn't. you would come across coconuts, and if you ate them, you would get some of that. But you wouldn't get like hundreds of grams of coconut oil and that fatty acid profile into you every day. Plus, it wouldn't be processed. It would be natural because you're eating it from a bloody coconut that you split open. So it would be fresh. It wouldn't be oxidized at all. Now, I'm saying that coconut oil is pretty stable, but all oils, all fats can oxidize with time. So, you know what? If you're eating some coconut oil, I think you're going to be good. But how much coconut oil does one person, eat per day, and when does it become a problem? Okay. All right. Fluffy Rainbow says, maybe smarta diabetic, as in smart diabetics. That's a website. smartadiabetiker.se can be of help for your husband. Sorry. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I've never heard of that website, but that might be good. They might have some ideas. However, just about everyone else at my gym uses pre-workout or Gatorade and think I'm nuts for putting pink salt in my water. Well, good on you. Yeah, that's the thing. To see someone else that gone before you and is doing well might make him brave. Yeah, absolutely. When you see others that have your condition and not just someone telling you what to do and they have the results, you're much, much more likely to listen. So I hope you'll find something there and that you can find a diabetic-friendly, low-carb-ish keto doctor of some kind. Right. So we got 3 minutes and then I'm off. Patty Ann, I have challenged him, and yes, all what you said, used to foods, heart problems, cholesterol, etc. His dad was also a diabetic. It's a crazy cycle. Doesn't he want to kind of break that cycle? That's what I'm thinking. If it was me, if I had diabetes, I would be like, oh my God, I need to do something. What am I going to do? I would go online, I would read, and I would try to find other people and see what's worked for them. And then I would just try different things until I found something. Not everyone is obviously like that. Maybe your husband isn't like that, but yeah, I'm glad I see that you said it was a good site. So that would be cool if you can find something that is awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Fluffy. Luke says, very easy way to detect if a given body of dietary guidelines is nonsensical. Tells you to avoid sugar, but encourage basing your diet around starchy grains or tubers. Yeah. And, processed foods as well. Pasta, bread, Nah, doesn't make any sense. I've used coconut oil for oil pulling my teeth. Yeah, it's probably good for that. Humans in general are way better adapted to deal with an abundance of minerals rather than scarcity. Low sodium medical advice is so harmful it should be considered an attempt on one's life. Yeah. I mean, there are lots of studies that just show you that it's not good to eat too little. And still, no one is talking about this problem. They acknowledge that there is a problem if you're not eating enough. They just don't think that is a problem and that could happen for anyone. So they ignore it. Okay. Okay, see you later, Joe. Have a good day. Patty Ann, today's stream was great. I will send him the link tomorrow. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Nectar says, I honestly miss pasta. I don't miss the way it makes me feel. It's funny because I don't miss it. I have one episode of missing pasta. I'm trying to think. I might have had pasta one time, or actually twice, because I bought a packet of pasta and then I ate it, in 15 years or so. And when I was a teenager or younger, I used to go home from school and cook pasta for lunch pretty much every day, eat pasta with butter and salt. That was my lunch because I didn't like school lunch. And I just loved it. And And I'm like, I don't need pasta in my life, like ever again. And it's just this one time, and I was like, I want a pasta carbonara, and now I'm going to try it. So I just went and bought pasta and tried it, and it was really good, but I didn't miss it after, and I'm quite happy about that. Right, so we're up to an hour, and I know I can hear him start speaking over there. So if you want to head over to the Nutrition Science Watchdog live stream, I think you should be going that way. And I just want to say, I've had a few new patrons lately. We're still not up to 20 people, but thank you so much to those of you who have joined there. And if you want to join that one, you can do so at patreon.com/PimJohnson. And you can join for like $1 per month if you just want to support the channel, etc. So thank you so much for being here. Now I'm going to shoot off, get that interview done for you so we can watch that on Tuesday. Thank you so much, everyone. Tack, tack. Varsågod. Yeah, okay. I need to go. I love you all. Thanks so much for being here. And if you have questions that I didn't answer this week, come back next week, post them straight away, and we will deal with it. So thank you so much. Bye.